Hello, good afternoon. My name is Mohammed. In this video, I'm gonna show you as a mobile food vendor what are you supposed to know. Basically, I'm gonna give you the guidelines and everything, and which will actually help you out with your inspection and checklist. So it's very good to read. So if you could just go on www.nyc.gov, asset DOH download PDF regulation for mobile food vendors PDF. If you just copy the link from here, or write it down. You can go to this link and this should pop up. Obviously, this is gonna be for, obviously for guidelines. And you can also get these guidelines in Spanish, Arabic, Bengali, Urdu, Chinese, Russian, Greek, Farsi, and Hindi. If you have any questions or feedback, you can call this number or email the mvspectionhealth.gov. They will give you update for information and everything. So basically, they want to make sure the introduction. They want to make sure that if you follow the rules and regulation of operating with the mobile food vendor. They want to make sure your health code and administration code are up to date. You know what you have to do, what you don't have to do. So basically, this is like a general rule you have to follow, and this is what my inspectors might come in and look for. If they are inspectors, they do come into it. You will make sure you're complying with the law. They might come in for permit renewal, inspection. They might come in for in response to complaint and other reports of violation. People can complain for many reasons. To follow an order issued by Health Commission to correct a violation. For example, the sanitary. If they find you, if you did not, you were not corrected on a sanitary issue, and they come and do a re-inspection, so make sure you are complying and you did correct the violation. This is the notice of violation. They can give you summonses violation. That's the Department of Health. Obviously, if you do, you will receive a notice, something that you've been violating the rules, and a provider, you have to respond to it. Obviously, you want to make sure that whoever owns the like food cart has to basically provide a defense or something to show compliance that what they were complying. Obviously, if you are correct. So that's another thing. What you should know about your permit decal license permit decal cannot be sold, rented, or given to another person. So make sure you know that every food vendor has a mobile food vendor decal. So make sure it's corrected. Vendor must always carry a current permit paper. You may not be able to renew your permit if you owe fines. Making sure that if you do owe fines, you won't be able to renew it. To sell food. To sell food, mobile vending, must have a current decal on it. You want to make sure you're up to date. To sell food, a mobile food vendor must have a current mobile food vending license. Obviously, you need the license. Vendor must wear the license so it can be seen by the public at all times. That is a very important part. A lot of people don't know about it or end up forgetting about it. Your license should be displayed at all times. So make sure it is displayed, and obviously people can see it. So if an inspector comes in and you don't see it, they can issue a violation. So obviously make sure. Who is allowed to vend? Only vendors who are licensed and authorized with a permit holder may sell food or drinks. Basically, if you do not have a mobile food vendor license, you may not work inside. So make sure you do have a license. Obviously, the permit holder must responsibly supervise the food units at all time. Whoever owns it, make sure everything's correct. Obviously, if you're working there as well, make sure everything's correct. They're responsible for violation regardless who is vending. So if you own the vending card, you're going to be responsible even though there's a worker in it. So make sure you train your employees as best as possible, or give them some type of education that this might be hidden. Even though they are going to be licensed by the Department of Health or Department of Consumer Affairs, they should be able to know all that. There's six different type of mobile food vending permit. Obviously, this is a citywide permit. You can be on public street in every borough year round. There's a temporary seasonal permit. There's a borough specific permit. Obviously, there's a fruit, vegetable, and permit. Every has, and there's a restricted area permit, special vendor permit. Obviously, there is area permit on private property requires a lease agreement or private property. There's multiple types of permits. So make sure whichever permit you have or what you're applying for. Obviously, you should know better about it. Then equipment and signs requirement for your mobile food vending unit. Obviously, if whatever you have. For example, if equipment needed for different type of food preparation for fried or grilled sausage, what do you have inside the vehicle? Do you have a hand wash sink? You're supposed to have a waste tank, overhead structural ventilation, cold holding, hot holding thermostat. If you're doing a pre-packaged frozen dessert, pre-packaged sandwiches, and packaged and prescribed fruits and vegetables, you have a water sink, an overhead structure, example, an overhead umbrella, cold holding, hot holding thermometer. You should have all that in your thing. If you're doing a boiled frankfurter sausage and knishes, this is the information you're supposed to have. If you're doing the sandwiches, raw fruits, this is the information. Like, for example, you need a portable water. that is safe to drink, sinks for washing food and cold tools. You have to have all that in your mobile food vendors. Brewed coffee or tea, donuts, you should have all this stuff inside. You may not charge your utility after the pre-permit inspection, example the size, adding accessories, etc. You must make a change to your unit. You must be re-inspected immediately. If you're changing anything, you need to get a re-inspector to make sure you're complying by the law. This is some of the glossary if you want to go over, like for example, what's code handling, coloring. This is actually excellent. If you are planning to become a mobile food vendor, you can look into this as well, because these are some of the questions they might ask you during the test, so it might be very beneficial for you. So besides that, you want to make sure that your mobile food vending unit is including sidewalk and push may not be larger than 5 feet and 10 feet long. So obviously there is a high requirement of it. They have to be 5 feet in length and not more than 10 feet long to make sure you are complying for it. Tank, and if you prepare food on a push cart, for example, you must have a water tank that has to hold at least 10 gallons. It's a requirement. A wastewater tank that holds about 15% more liquid than the drinking water tank. For example, if you have at least 11.5 gallons for 10-gallon drinking water to store dirty water, so you have to have extra, obviously, for the water tank. If you prepare food on a truck, you must have, obviously there's truck requirements too. You have to have at least 40 gallons, 15% more liquid than the drinking water tank. So obviously, it's common sense. If you prepare food, you have to have 2 propane tanks that weighs about 100 pounds each for trucks and up to 40 pounds each for push carts. So make sure you are complying with that law. It's actually good to know. Ice cream trucks are also part of the food vending license. If you're planning to drive an ice cream truck, make sure that you also have a food vending license, because they do need it. A lot of people don't know about it. So if you are driving an ice cream truck, you do need to be compliant with the food vending license as well. Obviously, commissionaries are a place where you store, set up, and clean your unit. Commissioner must have a permit from the New York City Health Department. So there are storage centers for these places. These people do go to places over there to get everything correct. So the commissioner places, you have to have a cleaning and sanitation equipment. They have to have equipment for disposal of liquid and solid waste, storage space for vending unit. It's like a storage place for these vendors. So obviously they should have all that. They have to have food preparation areas and supply, food storage equipment. They have to have propane storage approved by the New York City Fire Department. They have the daily logs. These are the places where they are. These are the commissionery places. You cannot have it at home. You must store your food vending unit at a commissionery depot or alternate approved facility. They have to be like a Department of Health approved facility. They cannot be at your home. Obviously, you want to make sure that you are compliant with the food and everything. You must clean and service your food vending unit at least once every day. They want to see that you're cleaning everything. You must prepare your food at a commissioner using the commissioning food preparation facilities. You have to go there and prepare your food and everything. You cannot go anywhere else. Just remember, only prepare food that your permit allows. So if you're making a food vendor, like for example a gyro card, you cannot be selling anything else besides that. So make whatever you're trained to. That's all you do, nothing else. Remember, before leaving the commissionery for vending, remember to fill your water tank for food prep. Make sure you store enough ice to keep food cold. Soap and water. You should. These are common sense questions. Obviously, you should know if you are in the business. So what you're supposed to do. The depots are only for storing for mobile food vending unit. They are usually a garage. Depots must have a permit for the health department. Like I said again, they need to be licensed. Obviously you can get a free copy of this by calling this number or calling them. They should help you out as well, or if you have any other questions. Alternate service and storage facilities. For example, for green cards, you may request service and storage facilities such as a private garage. They will accommodate you for example, for a pre-packaged food or whole fruits, vegetables. They can do that. So make sure your facility has to have for example, must be pest free, and if it may not be used to prepare or store food. These are alternate facilities you could go to, but they also have to be licensed by the DOH. Daily practice traveling to a vending location before leaving the commissioning or your garage. Make sure you have proof of where you brought your food. You have the commissioning contact letter readily available. If an inspector does come in, they want to see that where you got your food, and you don't want to say it from your home. Obviously, then you could get a summons for it. Even though if you have it from a authorized garage, you can show the inspector then, and they will not be able to bother you at that time, because you do have proof. All items must be securely attached and stored in your car or truck while traveling to the location. Propane tanks must be disconnected and safely stored in your car or truck while traveling. Make sure that you do comply with that rule. God forbid if something happens, if they leak, they can get you in trouble. You may not cook, heat water, conduct any other food preparation while traveling to your location. Ice cream trucks may only play music while moving, so make sure you do know that they cannot play music if they're not moving. That's what they're asking for. Daily practice choosing and setting up your vending operation. Where to set up your mobile food vending unit. Obviously, set up your push cart on a sidewalk at least 12 feet wide. Set up unit within 6 to 12 inches of the curb. Set up your unit at least 10 feet from any crosswalk. So these are the requirements. You can look into this as if you go on yourself. Vehicles, they want to make sure you obey the same placement regulation as mobile food vending car. You must have a current department DMV registration and inspection sticker and insurance. This is the insurance matter because you are driving a mobile food truck, so they want to make sure everything it is. You cannot idle engine. Make sure your engine is not on, and you may not vend at a parking meter. So make sure that you're not at a parking meter. So obviously you want to make sure with that part. Don't block the sidewalk. Make sure that you store anything next to your unit on the sidewalk except a garbage container. Do not hold any parts of every unit where approved during your pre-permit inspection. So make sure you all comply with that rule. Protect food from contamination. Common sense. Have a person with an FDNY certificate fitness connect your propane tank. They want to make sure the authorized person do connect the propane tank to their. Obviously, they want to make sure that professional hygiene is very important. Follow these guidelines. Obviously, you must be fully clothed at all time. You must wear a hair cover that hides your hair completely. For example, a hat, scarf, or hairnet. You must wash your hands before preparing and serving any food. Common sense. You must wash your hands after using your bathroom, sneezing, smoking, touching your hair. So personal hygiene is very important. Obviously, make sure you follow these rules. Make sure you cook food that requires time and temperature control for safety. Obviously, these are some of the food requirements, so make sure you're complying with the rules. Don't cross-contaminate. That's very important. Do not cross-contaminate, especially with chicken or with any other items, because people are allergic. They can get allergic, so you don't want to make sure cross-contaminated food. So basically, like ice and ice cream storage, read over this on your own. I mean, it's a lot of information. I just want to go over the basic thing. So make sure, for example, keep the right area around your car or truck clean and litter free. Make sure there's no garbage around your area. Make sure it's clean. Have a person with FDN certificate fitness discharge your propane tanks as needed. If it's finished, have them. They're certified. They're licensed. They should have the on. If you need to leave your unit, use the bathroom, or get supplies from local, please do it in one of the following ways. For example, have another licensed vendor operate your unit until you return. Have an unlicensed person remains with your unit, but make sure to shut down your cooking equipment. Properly store all food. Close and lock your unit so no one can tamper with it. Return within 30 minutes. So you can't have somebody else inside to give you a 30-minute timeline. Shutting down your vending operation for the day. When you close your unit for the day, store cooking grease in leak-proof container and throw the grease away. The commissioner. Basically, read through all this, guys. It is a lot of information. Return your unit to the commissioner. Remember, do not leave any propane tanks on your unit. Return all propane tanks to the commissioner propane storage area. Basically, if you read all through this, they will give you a checklist of what to do, how to avoid contamination violations. I just wanted to give you a brief guideline, what they need. So again, if you have any other questions, call this number, the Department of Health. They should help you out. Whatever question it is, it's quite simple. So basically, that's about the end of the video. If you have any other questions or comments or concerns, please comment, like, subscribe below. I will try to help you out as much as possible. Again, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you had any other question, it was like 36 pages I went through, so I just wanted to go over it quick with the main guidelines, what you needed. Thank you again. I hope you enjoyed it.